Hello, I live in Italy and I'm using this channel again. I share with the association that I created years ago. Normally, we help people and animals that have lost each other, and the pictures you see scrolling are of some of them that we are still looking for here. Today, I'm giving you some advice about cleaning and sanitizing home along with some hints about body care, and I'm asking you to share the information in your turn. Comments and questions have come on this issue, while some evenings ago one of our long-time members, he's a male nurse in the dermatology department of a hospital, passed me a very recent laboratory study on the decay time of COVID-19, along with a PPT presentation used to explain the concepts of sanitization, cleaning and asepsis. Finally, I gathered my personal knowledge and notes taken during a course for nutritionists. Well, it is difficult to give useful advice and explain certain medical notions in simple English, but I would like to try. The laboratory study showed that especially on steel and plastic surfaces, COVID-19 manages to resist and maintain its infectious capacity for up to 3 days, which means 72 hours, decreasing as time passes. On the other hand, it lasts only a few hours on cardboard. The parcels we received by post, courier, are therefore not dangerous, unless a person ill of COVID-19 did not sneeze, cough on it during the 5 hours prior to delivery. The result of the laboratory study has been published in Italy by a magazine called Focus in an easy-to-understand article. Now some information about denatured ethyl alcohol. It is usually a transparent liquid, artificially colored pink, sold at a gradation between 90 and 99%. What unfortunately most people don't know is that used pure as it comes out of the bottle, it does not disinfect. To disinfect, it should be diluted with water, possibly sterile one, in a minimal dilution concentration of 60% up to a maximum dilution concentration of 80%. Examples: 600 milliliter alcohol plus 400 milliliter water are okay, or 700 milliliters alcohol plus 300 milliliter waters are also okay. 800 milliliters alcohol plus 200 milliliters water are still fine. These dilutions are all okay for the use you need. Therefore, prefer the one with 600 milliliter alcohol plus 400 milliliter water because it has the same effectiveness as the 800 plus 200 dilution, and like this you will consume less alcohol and you will have a supply that will last longer. I try to explain why things are like this. Alcohols are not all the same. So, before buying any alcohol, check if it is needed for what you want to do, and before diluting, make sure to use the correct dilution if this should be necessary. A 100% used substance is not necessarily better. This means that it does not necessarily achieve the desired effect. In the simplest possible terms, pathogens are not destroyed by ethyl alcohol at a 100% range concentration, but only at a lower concentration because it is only with that specific concentration that ethyl alcohol manages to kill them by melting their skin. So, not a dilution of 50% and not even 90%. It takes a dilution between 60 and 80%. Otherwise, you wouldn't kill anybody and pathogens will continue to mock you. Ask for your family doctor or any healthcare professional if you're still in doubts. Denatured alcohol diluted as above is fine for all surfaces. However, do a test in an unobtrusive place. And bleach should be used at a 10% concentration, and it is not to be used on metals. Those who have stained steel sinks have already known this for a long time, isn't it? Now let's talk about COVID-19. It is transmitted in two ways: through breath and entering our body using its openings. About breath and therefore about the use of masks. Many masks do not have a texture so thick to avoid COVID-19 not getting through, but attention. The mask considerably slows down the flow of our breath, which is what COVID-19 uses to move 1-2 meters at a time. It is the same mechanism that has always been used by all other flu viruses, now less presumed. The mask is therefore used to slow down the wind and shorten the flow rate used by the viruses to fly, our breath. If without mask the flight of our breath has a certain flow rate, and therefore also what it brings travels with it, using the mask it is certainly reduced. Evidence for this is that it is common practice even during the most banal surgery that medical staff wears masks. Regarding body opening used by COVID-19 and also by many other common germs and viruses, the easier these doors are to be reached, the better. This is the reason why with unwashed hands after touching even only potentially infected areas, you should not touch your mouth, your nose, your eyes. What does this mean? It means that wearing protective gloves only protects us as long as, while wearing them, we do not touch our mouth, nose and eyes. COVID-19 could be deposited right on the gloves, but as long as we don't help it get it into our body from there, it will have to look for other ways to do it, and it won't succeed if you will follow these rules. This is also the reason why you are urged not to go to sneeze over someone's open wounds, because the wounds are doors that bring in any crap and not just COVID-19. Someone asked me if supermarkets are obliged to disinfect shopping carts. Frankly speaking, I think it is better not to wonder if only the others have done their part. If you know that you will soon push the shopping cart, bring gloves from home, but regardless if you will be wearing them or not, remember not to put your hands on your face as long as you will not wash your hands thoroughly, even after having removed the gloves. Same thing applies when touching handles, plumbings, and so forth. Now a topic that always generates heated discussions. I know it is not easy to explain the difference between dangerous dirt, I mean accumulations of unwanted material in which pathogens can nest more easily, and non-hazardous residues that, if anything, only affect our sensitivity. Oh, how disgusting! Unfortunately, since the post-war period, many people have been educated according to a wrong concept of total hygiene. Already years ago, I had noticed an obsessive hammering by foreign national health services abroad, instead of just teaching people a correct approach to personal hygiene, invited people to refuse to even shake hands. It is an aberrant application and divulgation of the concept of hygiene. And then, where do we put the healthy important baggage of personal body defenses? The proof is that now there are cases of people and pets with serious problems because disinfectants have been used with little or no criteria. Now it is difficult to fill these gaps quickly, but we need to recover them as soon as possible, hoping that these notions will be systematically taught after the COVID-19 period onwards. Some quick examples. When do you believe that humans begin to massively form antibodies? When they start crawling as kids. And luckily we have them, and they must also be continuously trained. Why have we been told that now they are not to wash ourselves too much, in order not to remove that invisible coat that protects our skin from banal aggressive dermatitis, mycosis, and so on? It is a shield that must be preserved, and it is not by continually disinfecting that we do pamper ourselves. Stop using bleach. I have been used to drink tap water since I was a little girl, even when I lived in Naples and there was a cholera epidemic. Many years afterwards, as a teenager and with my classmates, I went to Prague for a week. The first half of the time I got bored to tears. Why? We were all locked up in the hotel with dysentery, except for one person. I, obviously. My classmates used to drink only water from the bottle at their home. There was not such a thing in Prague in those days. Today's conditions have certainly changed, but it was a life lesson, also an acoustic one, about fierce antibodies. Those who have pets at home know something about it, even more if they should have a large group like myself. It is the revenge of pets and their human families now. They certainly don't help protect against COVID-19, but they help keep our immune defenses better trained and diversified. Let's go back to the topic of cleaning. To proceed, correctly follow this sequence without jumping a single step and without inverting the sequence. Do not carry out cleaning and sanitizing operations while preparing, cooking and/or serving food. Choose the appropriate products. This means a common commercial cleaner and a disinfecting agent, as for example denaturated ethyl alcohol. Remove visible dirt and throw it into the trash. Rinse the surfaces. Wash the surfaces with a detergent. Rinse the surfaces again if necessary. Use the disinfecting agent. Dry and keep the surfaces dry. In this period, it would make sense not to wear watches, rings, bracelets, where dirt and moisture lurk. Keep your nails short, smooth and clean. Remember to aerate your whole home at least once a day. About the use of disposable paper. If on one hand it would be the best means to remove dirt, to clean water and cleaner, to apply the disinfecting agent, at present we cannot know how long we will still have it available. Up to 2 months ago we were also trying to free ourselves from the concept of disposable, but did you know that a normal laundry at 40-60 degrees Celsius is more than enough to make the laundry reusably safely? If in doubt, go over the instructions of the Italian Ministry of Health, also reported in the text box below our first COVID-19 tutorial on YouTube, COVID-19 What to Do, the Italian experience. About bleach and homemade cleaners. In the text box on this video you find a useful link to some wise article in Italian, as well as the article issued by Focus magazine. Thanks to Joseph for helping me to collect and better define the notions and good practices explained above. I apologize for being synthetic. And thanks to those who made me understand that it was necessary to share this information, because it is true that everything is easy when you know how to do it. The last recommendation that I will never be tired of repeating: use common sense now more than ever.